Hello guys. Initially I wanted my first video to be a web dev tutorial, but there's still some few things that I need to wrap up. So in the meantime, I'll be dropping a lot of coding challenge video series. So this one is my first one and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. Let's go to CodeWars. So you need to register, but before you register, you need to choose the language that you prefer. Some of you prefer C++, but for us, we're going to use JavaScript for this tutorial. So you choose JavaScript and it's going to ask you to actually rectify or find what the issue is with this function, right? Once you do so, once you find what the problem is, you submit and it's going to take you where you have to fill in the important stuff, right? And then you can link your GitHub account, so it means you can register using GitHub, right? So I've already registered, so I'm just gonna hit login and I should be able to sign in with my GitHub. Called an assistic number is a positive number, which is the sum of its own digit, each raised to the power of the number of digits in a given base, right? So if you want to solve this problem, you just hit train, or you could skip it if you feel like it's too easy for you or too difficult, or you just don't find it interesting. So for us, let's just solve this one and see how it goes. So the instruction says an assistic number is a positive number which is the sum of its own digits, each raised to the power of the number of digits in a given base. In this kata, we will restrict ourselves to decimal base 10. For example, take 153. It has 3 digits, which is narcissistic. It means 1 to the power of 3 plus 5 to the power of 3 plus 3 to the power of 3, which sums up to these numbers respectively, and altogether they make 153, which makes it a narcissistic number. Okay, interesting. 1652, which is 4 digits, is not a narcissistic number. So let's head to the function called narcissistic. Apparently, okay, so we need to return true or false. If a value is a narcissistic value or number, you return true. If not, so how are we going to solve this? Okay, so you have okay, you have a number, right? And then you need to, okay, so this is simple. You're going to let's do this constant. Let's stringify it so we can be able to iterate through it, right? String equals string value, which is value to string. To string is a JavaScript function which takes whatever object you give it. Could be a number, it could be whatever you give it, it's gonna try to stringify it. So now it means we have a string value. In a string value we have a string, right? And then we need to iterate through this string value. We're going to say, let's use the classic for loop, right? Let's use it for let I string value dot length I plus plus. So we're going to take let's have also a value here, which we're gonna have the sum. Now it can't be a constant because we're gonna change it. We have to have a sum. So we're going to say sum plus plus, so we pass it into an integer, so we're going to say have math dot power. So since we're gonna power it um to the power of whatever number of digits this value has, right? So and then we're gonna say pass int, we need the value in the string value, and to the power of string value dot length, right? Once it's done, you just return, because if they're equal you return true. If they're not, so you just say the sum equal to value, sorry, if they are not, this expression will return, if they're not equal, this expression will return false. If they're equal, it's going to return true. So let's test it. Let's get those errors. Fuck, what does it say? Missing okay, so we opened, okay, bracket, we never closed it, so let's close it. Expected false to equal true. 7 is expected, not false. Expected. Why? Okay, let's see what's going on. Oh, damn it. Sorry. You open it. Bingo. We have passed all the tests. Let's submit all together. Bingo. We have passed all the tests. And then once you have passed it, you are going to be allowed to move to a next question or a challenge, which they are called kata or something like that. So yeah, let's move on. Actually, I thought I'll do one solution for this video, but then I thought I should maybe record a second one, right? So here's the one that I think it's interesting, because we're gonna be using an array which contains hashes of names. Return a string formatted as a list of names separated by commas except for the last two names, which should be separated by an ampersand. And then they give us an example and what it should return. So we have basically four cases, right? Where it could be an empty array, where it could be uh, an array with only one object or two, or this case actually like where you have multiple names, more than two, three, up until n 10, right? So how are we going to do this? Okay, let's start coding. So you have an array which contains object, and then the object has a property called name. So let's have a string that we're going to return, right? We can say it's hashes, which is an empty array. I mean an empty string rather, and we need to iterate or go through the names array. So we're going to use a for each function. So for each function, we can pass in on the callback, we can pass in two values, which should be we're gonna access each object individually when we iterate, and we can also have its index in the array, right? So here we can have a name and its index, but let's have something like, let's destructure it since we have an object which has a property called name, right? Let's destructure it and get the name. and then this is an arrow function. So our first condition is what? Let's check uh if index plus 1 is equal to names dot length minus 1. This means that we are actually at the second last object in the array. So then this means we have to use an ampersand. We're going to say name plus we concatenate, right? Let's see what. Okay, an ampersand. Okay, another condition is that what we let's see what do we do? We Okay, you know what? Let's solve these cases first. If the array is empty, we return just an empty string. If names dot length is less than 1, if it's less than 1, just return an empty string. If names dot length is equal to 1, which means there's only one value in the array, just return it. We just gonna say return names if. However, now this case we have, so if these two conditions uh were both false, it means now we have more than uh two values in the array, right? So you can simply hash it like this, or okay, we need a space, right? And else hashes plus name plus space, plus space. Let's see, and then we need to return hashes, right? Let's test. It's funny games when you fail. Okay, so must work with many names except bad, bad. Instead got bad Lisa home. Okay, it got this. Oh, so I get it. So it means we have the condition for the last two names, which is correct. We got it here. However, the last one way is this. So else if um so let me return it because I don't want it to continue. So else if index is not equal to names dot length minus 1. So if this index is not the last one, do this. If it is, else then just do hashes plus name, because now it means we are at the last one. Let's test it. Hopefully it works. Wrong output for this. The fuck? Wrong output for a single name. Expected bad instead got bad. Oh, it makes sense because okay, so we go to the okay, name dot this, because we have an array, right? But it has only one object, and then we go into that object which is at index 0, and we go to the property name and we return it. Okay, past all attempt. You also passed everything, so we can submit this one. So if you enjoyed watching me struggle with these simple questions, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a comment down below. You could even leave like a question that you once struggled with that I should probably try, right? And I'll look into it. And also leave a comment on how I can improve the delivery of like these videos. So yeah, thank you. But please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. I'll see you next time.